Yes, Madame la Présidente, I first seek unanimous consent to split my time with the member from Don Valley West.
The member for Ottawa-Vanier is seeking unanimous consent to split her time. Is it the pleasure of the House that it agreed? Agreed. Thank you. Back to the member for Ottawa-Vanier.
Merci, Madame la Présidente. C'est un grand plaisir pour moi de me lever pour discuter du projet de loi 34. Madame la Présidente, the future will be green or there won't be a future. This bill is entirely symbolic because it responds to a long-standing opposition of the Conservative Party to green energy. I commend the government for having included many of the dispositions that...
Stop the clock. I'm having a very difficult time even with the earpiece hearing the member for Ottawa-Vanier, so anybody who's not staying in the House and wishes to carry on a conversation, please take it outside so that I can hear the member. Thank you. Back to the member for Ottawa-Vanier.
So I wanted to say I commend the government for including many provisions of the Green Energy Act in the Electricity Act, particularly the ones on conservation and energy efficiency. I will make 2 points. The first one is I am concerned about Section 4 of the bill, and I would recommend the government to review that section and reconsider it. And secondly, I think I want to speak to the need to continue to support a green sector. So number one, Section 4 of the bill treats renewable energy differently than other types of energy. It's one thing not to want to give favored treatment to renewable energy, and I think that was the point of the government, but it's something else to create added burden to people that want to invest in renewable energy. So Section 4, if I want to quote it for you, says that the Environmental Protection Act is amended by allowing the following clause, that it's possible to prohibit the issue of renewable energy approvals in prescribed circumstances, which may include circumstances in which the demand for electricity that would be generated has not been demonstrated. So essentially, the point of this provision is to prevent some renewable energy projects from going on if the demand for them has not been established. In my view, this is unnecessary. If there's no market for the energy that's being produced, the producer will not be in this market. The danger with creating added demand or added steps for renewable energies is that it makes them less competitive, and it creates a disincentive for investors from going and investing in green energy projects. Green energy has created many jobs in Ontario. Indeed, I think I have the numbers here that since 2009, 42,000 jobs have been created in the green energy sector, with over 30 solar and wind manufacturers right here in Ontario. So there's no reason really why we want to prejudice that sector. I think it's okay, and I understand the government wants us to be neutral toward that sector, and that's what I'm recommended. Indeed, the long-term energy plan of the previous government mandated from now on neutrality, being agnostic as to which type of energy we were going to consume in order to ensure price competitiveness. We know that with the rise in technology, that many of the renewable energy projects may become very competitive on price, and we should not deter ourselves, prevent ourselves from benefiting from this increase in competitiveness on the green sector. And indeed, I think many of the people who are commenting on the bill recognize that it's one thing not to want to favor green energy, but it's something else if you want to create added burden. It's not necessary to have these provisions, and I encourage the government to review its position on this. The second thing that I want to reflect on is the importance of not undermining the green energy sector. The future of our competitiveness depends on having a strong green energy sector. throughout the world, governments, industry, and societies in general are moving toward wanting green products. There are some hiccups. There are some climate change deniers. There are some ultra-conservative governments that continue not to want to recognize the impact of climate change on the environment, but I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about throughout the world. I could, but that's not my point. My point is, as I said, I want to make sure that our competitiveness continues to be ensured in Ontario. And to be competitive in the future, you will have to have products that can compete on their GHG emissions. We know that the trend will continue. We can predict that competition between products will be about the price, but also about the number of GHG that are emitted during their production. We need a technology that continues to be at the utmost, at the leading edge in Ontario. And that's where we were. We were the world leader in continuing to support green energy. We don't want to lose that part, so we don't want to go too far in that context. We have created the expertise in green energy. Indeed, Toyota came to Ontario because there was the ability of creating its electric car, because we had the expertise on staff. We don't want to lose that. So I think we need to continue to be neutral toward green energy and support the green sector generally in order to ensure that Ontario and Ontarians continue to be ready to compete in the future. Merci, Madame la Présidente, et I pass the torch to my colleague.